Bill Burr's take on Kenosha?
Treat people in Kenosha, but probably haven't watched the video yourself. No, I watched the video. If you've not watched the video, I'd like to hear if your perspective changes after seeing it yourself. It seems clear to me that Kyle Rittenhouse didn't take an assault rifle, as you said, just shoot unarmed in his...
Also, if one of the victims actually killed Rittenhouse, they'd be getting lesser charge because the court would find that there was adequate provocation. Stop listening to 12-year-olds. There are adults here too. Yeah, like, yeah, if the skateboard guy killed Rittenhouse, he would not be going to jail. I mean it. If the skateboard, which is, of course, a deadly weapon, not an AR-15. An AR-15 is for healing people, but a skateboard is a deadly weapon. If the skateboarder had fucking ended up killing Kyle Rittenhouse with a skateboard, I don't believe he'd be going to jail. Straight up. It's not a protest when you're destroying cities. Bro, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? You can't just go to an area with your gun to be like, whoa, it's not a protest. They're destroying cities, so I'm going to start blasting. Like, shut the fuck up. This is an interesting precedent about this type of thing. Minnesota homeowner Byron Smith convicted of premeditated murder. A Minnesota homeowner who shot and killed 2 unarmed teenagers during a break-in was quickly convicted of premeditated murder on Tuesday. Why did he do that? Because he waited for them to fucking break in. He knew that they were going to break in. The attorney said he was fearful after previous burglaries, but prosecutors argued Smith laid in wait in his basement and intended to kill the teens with a setup so elaborate that lead prosecutor Pete Orput compared it to a deer stand. Their key evidence was an audio recording that captured the killings in chilling detail, including Smith's taunts as the teens died. There's a lot of fucking freaks like this too. And remember, what those teenagers were doing were fucked up in that situation. Okay? What those teenagers were doing in that situation, breaking into someone's house and stealing their shit, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. But you can't just be like, all right, well, they're doing a bad deed. Time for murder. What makes me more sad about this case is that it seemed that 95% of the chat is pro-Kyle. That's not true. That is literally not true. This community is one of the few fucking communities on the internet where it's not an overwhelming amount of people who are like pro Kyle Rittenhouse. Go anywhere else and you will see psychos like literally nonstop talking about like he's a hero, dude. There's just a loud ass fucking minority of people in here that are fucking creaming their pants because they're, you know, Amerifat brained. Okay, they're just like Ameroids and think that it's like appropriate to just like run around with a fucking AR-15 at a protest. Sorry, it's just the truth. You're fucking delusional and you have a weird type of American brain disease if you think that like you can just do this, that this is normal. And the comparison I made to fucking running over protesters is exactly the same. It's literally the same. Fantasizing about driving over protesters and being able to get away with it legally by invoking self-defense is the exact same shit that Kyle Rittenhouse is in right now. It is what would make the fucking Nazi in Charlottesville get away with a free kill. And the most disgusting part about that is the GOP literally saw James Fields Jr. travel to fucking Charlottesville, drive into a crowd with his vehicle, okay, and then face a fucking life sentence for that, and decided in 30 states we are going to implement a legislation that would absolve him. Okay? And you dummies, if you're like a leftist or if you're like a fucking liberal, you idiots are literally defending that mentality. It's so stupid. So insane, dude. The Kenosha shooting turned me to the left. Before that, it was a weird ass sentence, but then I saw people defend him and I turned hard left. Well, you are in the minority there for sure. I think a lot of fucking people who thought that they were leftists are like broken brained by being American and now are like, no, it's fucking fine. Do you believe Kyle showed up with the intent to murder? I believe that Kyle Rittenhouse, first of all, it's like impossible to fucking prove. I mean, there is some evidence to show that like he is incredibly irresponsible with his guns, or not with his gun, but he's incredibly irresponsible and has talked about like shooting fucking people before. Okay, but without a shadow of a doubt, I can't say that. I can only look at his actions, and his actions, especially when matching his like previous fucking takes, especially when matching the very famous conservative trope of like wanting to fucking get a legal kill in a riot situation or a looting situation. Well, that's precisely what he did, and he's getting away with it. Why else would you bring a fucking AR-15? If your goal is to save people in a rioting situation, in a riot, if you think there's a riot going on, you don't bring an AR-15, dummy. You just bring your fucking medicine bag. When I first saw the Kyle Rittenhouse case, I thought it was going to be straight up case closed and conservatives were just going to call he's a bad apple with a gun, not go around calling him a fucking hero. No, of course they are. That's like their fucking fantasy, dude. That's their fantasy. Getting a legal kill is a very classic conservative fantasy. How is Charlottesville the same as Kenosha? The Charlottesville guy literally drove in the people who weren't assaulting him. The Charlottesville defense was also the exact same. The only difference is that in Charlottesville, there was enough fucking, he was a Nazi, okay? He was a fucking Nazi, and he drove all the way from fucking Ohio, and he had fantasized about killing people, and it actually fucking they used it in a court of law against them. That's the difference. Kyle Rittenhouse is not openly a fucking Nazi. Kyle Rittenhouse also, what do you call it? His prior fucking takes about shooting people that were looting were not admissible in court, according to the judge. So obviously you can't make a fucking case stick in a similar capacity. Also, I understand that there's a difference between driving into a fucking crowd on purpose, okay? On purpose, and someone who's in a situation where someone is coming up at you and you have a gun and you shoot them. I get that there's a difference there, okay? There is more reason to believe that one is engaging in self-defense and the other is like premeditated murder. I see that. I understand that. In the eyes of the law, it doesn't fucking matter, though. Especially if these Republican legislatures are successful in implementing the fucking anti-protest driving bills. Technically, in the eyes of the law, that's true. They would have killed him if he didn't shoot. Changed my mind. That's really interesting that you say that, because apparently someone kicked him in the fucking head and, you know, he didn't get murdered. So he's still alive. He drove from out of state, previously stated desire to kill people, then followed through. I'm talking about Kyle. It's what is known as a good shoot in hog circles. I've been around, not a legal kill. They don't say they like to kill. Yeah. I mean, but it is a legal kill. That's what it is. So fucking stupid. If Kyle Rittenhouse didn't have a fucking rifle with him, and if he had just like a fucking medic bag with him, no one was fucking attacking him, you dummies. You're out of your fucking mind. Like, that's insane. And the worst part about it is that now that this, like, if this case absolves him, you're going to see a lot more Kyle Rittenhouses out there. Okay, let's get back to Bill Burr.
Innocent fucking people.
What do you want, him jailed forever? No, of course not. Dude, literally a year ago, I said Kyle Rittenhouse is like the perfect person who could be rehabilitated in a normal criminal justice system, in a normal, well-functioning society, okay? He's young. He like had psychotic fantasies. He acted on those desires. He fucked up. He killed people. He should be and could be rehabilitated. I've said this so many fucking times. I said it 2 days ago as well. But now he's going to be like a fucking Republican congressperson, okay?
It doesn't look to me like he just decides to take matters into his own hands and shoots them. The first guy shot was charging at Kyle and throwing some unknown flaming object in his direction.
That's not even true. The object was not flaming.
While he was trying to run away and hear a gunshot directly behind. All right, admittedly, I watch grainy footage of this shit. But here is the thing. Here is the thing about all of this shit. All right? A 17-year-old kid should not be walking around.
Murderers don't deserve rehabilitation. Sorry, this is my least. Everyone deserves rehabilitation, dude. Shut up.
With a fucking assault weapon. Okay? And then, secondly, why people are rioting and all of that stuff, like, is something else that white people have fucking ignored for hundreds of years. There is also that. Now, you should not run at somebody. You should not fucking, throw a flaming thing at somebody or anything like that. But I do not sign off on fucking people. Like, I mean, I would have to watch all of this fucking thing. Look, if somebody comes into your fucking house, I mean, yeah. But if you're outside going down there with a gun to confront people, then I don't know. I don't know. But you are right. I haven't watched it, I guess, to the level you have. Doesn't look to me okay. The first guy shot was charging at Kyle, throwing some unknown flaming object in his direction. Well, I mean, obviously you can't do that. The second guy was shot trying to grab his rifle as he was being kicked in the face by another protester. The third guy shot was lunging towards him with a pistol in his hand. Before the first shooting, he can be seen on video running away from a group of people. My question, though, is why is he there? Okay, the cops can go down there and handle this shit. Why is he out there? That is my question. And he's retreating. Someone behind him fires a gun into the air. Imagine running away from a mob of people, hearing a gunshot from behind you, then turning around. Okay, here's my question for you. Imagine putting yourself in the perspective of those other people. Yep. Because the problem is that people just keep putting themselves into the perspective of the...
Kyle Rittenhouse testified on the stand that the other shot from across the property did not factor into why he shot Rosenbaum.
White person if they're white, or the black person if they're black. The bottom line is you should not be rioting, and the other bottom line is you should not be going out there acting like you just deputized yourself. This is a 17-year-old kid.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
That's exactly the fucking point. And our criminal justice system is literally fucking allowing that. Like, vigilantism is now legal. Thank God.
What is he doing out there in the middle of a fucking riot? There's also that question, isn't there? All right, at this point, he had to choose between using his rifle or getting into a fist fight with an angry mob. Well, you're not addressing why he's out there. After this shooting, he does not flee the scene. He grabs his phone and stays with the victim. However, the mob quickly starts moving his direction and begins yelling at him, so he runs away to avoid another confrontation. Once again, the mob does not allow him to flee. Yeah, and he also inserted himself into this, is the thing that you're ignoring. And the second shooting about a minute later can be seen jogging down the street with a group of people chasing him with someone yelling, "Get him, get his ass." Yeah, because he just shot 2 fucking people. There's also that, okay? What you're acting like is this guy was sitting inside doing his homework. He went out.
Exactly, dude. It's psychotic. Oh, thank God there's like a fucking older American person who's like, holy shit. I feel like I'm fucking losing my mind when I hear motherfuckers talk about this shit, dude. It's like, God damn, dude. Like, the notion that there's like, the notion that he was there to fucking like defend someone else's private property is also additionally psychotic and hilarious too.
Out there to confront. He went out there with a gun to join it. Okay, now if you don't have any sympathy for people that went out to riot, How do you have sympathy for somebody that went out to confront it who's not a cop? That is my question. All right? Now, I'm totally about, I 100% get the self-defense thing that you're saying here, but you're not addressing why he went out there. All right? I mean, what about that guy, that same thing, that guy in Florida where the cops are going, don't follow that kid, don't follow that kid. He went out there to have a confrontation. Anyway, within 2 seconds of tripping, a person tries to kick him in the face while he's on the ground, and a second person reaches down, grabs the barrel of his weapon, and is shot in the chest. He immediately sights his rifle on a man running towards him with the handgun. The man with the handgun freezes and puts his hands up for about a second. It appears Kyle looks down at his weapon to clear a malfunction, at which point the man with the handgun lunges towards him and is shot in the arm. Now, okay, so now imagine you're trying to get away.
That's the other part. It's like, usually AR-15s, like fucking, they get jammed easily, right? It's true. ARs fucking malfunction all the time. Motherfucker literally was like, nah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna fix it. Not really. Cope. Not really. Copium. Get the fuck out of here. It 1000% jams, dude. Shut the fuck up. The trial showed no evidence of that.
Wait, yeah, I get all of this stuff except why he was there. Why are you there?
Yeah. It literally happened to me. That's why. 5.56 is the shitty ammo that always jams.
Why the fuck are you there? That's what I don't get. While someone is screaming for people to stop you, someone sprints up behind you and throws a haymaker at the back of your head. Yeah, what you're ignoring is that he went down there to confront. He got it.
He's reading a take that is like favorable to Kyle too, like, because there's some information there that is not correct. And even then, he's like, you know, he's ripping Kyle.
Confrontation. He then got involved. Like, what would you think would happen if you went down and started shooting people in a mob? What would you think if you went down and faced a mob? You go down there with...
Oh, this is from a year ago. Oh, that's why. A lot of this stuff is like not even... Yeah.
Your gun.
He's reading a take that's completely wrong. Yeah. A lot of the information that he brought up is not even correct, including like the flaming fucking thing and all this other stuff. It's from 2020. I thought this was recent. That's why. That makes it even better, dude. Fucking holy shit.
To face a fucking riot. And you were against the rioters. Like, what? Put yourself in that other position. What are you going to do? All right? Put yourself in the position of the rioters who've been pulled over for years and years and years for no fucking reason at all other than for being black, and they could literally be driving home from a night course at college and end up dead. And the people who do it have never gone to jail. Imagine how angry they are. Imagine if they're showing up and there's yet another white person with a fucking assault weapon walking around and no one has a fucking problem with it because they're white. Imagine if you're a black guy and you're walking down the street after you just shot a couple of people who are coming at you or not with your hands up, and the cops just go, oh, hey, get out of the way. I mean, if you're going to do this, put yourself in the white dude's position. You have to do that on both sides. Okay? Now, from what you're saying, if it went down the way you're saying it went down, then all of that on paper is self-defense. But what I don't understand is why he goes down there. Why does he show up with this fucking gun? What is he doing? He's not a cop. He's 17 fucking years old. He should be at home, inside, and he should be letting the people whose job it is to stop it. He doesn't. He chooses to go down there, get involved, and face the anger of hundreds of years of oppression, inserts himself into that, and is standing there with a fucking gun. Okay? I would think if I went down with a gun to a fucking riot, I'm eventually going to run into somebody with a fucking gun.
Yep.
That's what's going to happen.
Yep.
So, I mean...
Bill is obviously a homosexual communist. That's right, brother. That's right. I knew you shouldn't trust them gingers. That's right. That's why he's got this tank.
Look, if that kid was fucking sitting on his front porch even, trying to defend his house, because if they're going to come and burn down his house, you got a gun, you have every fucking right. But you start walking down you insert yourself and walk down the fucking street, you're looking for it, isn't he? I don't know. And this is another thing, too. I am not condoning what people do in riots. I think riots are wrong. I don't think that they help what people are trying to achieve. On the other side, I definitely believe that people get hired both in those New World Order fucking white peaceful protests. I definitely think that the government hires people to go down there and stir shit up. I've seen plenty of fucking videos where they just leave stacks of bricks places, acting like they're fucking building. It's like sitting in the middle of the fucking road. There's all kinds of variables here. So here's the thing, sir. Like, I have no problem with gun owners. I have no problem with self-defense. I do have a fucking problem when you're a 17-year-old kid and you decide to just go down there the same way that fucking asshole down in Florida murdered that kid. He went down. He was looking for a confrontation. He got one, and then people died. I don't know. But having said that, I'm sure your version of what happened is what's going to happen because this kid's white, and he will get off. I think that that's what's going to happen, and that's not going to help things. I don't know. That's just how I look at it. All right, and in defense of what you're saying, I haven't watched it to the level that you have watched it, but I'm not going to watch this video. When I do watch it, I'm not going to watch it like this kid didn't have an option to not fucking be there. All right? I don't know. Let me see something here before I make a total ass of myself. Where did this kid live? Where does Kyle... Slowy, internet.
What's better, your Logan Roy or Bill Burr impression? How are ya? The Monday Morning Podcast. That's right.
Of course.
Sometimes I do better. Sometimes I do a better one.
Didn't this guy
do a better one.
drive from a long way away? The reality is, I shouldn't be weighing into this shit if I know this
Look, don't be a fucking asshole, all right?
little about it. That is the truth. But I will. If this is another classic example of somebody who did not have to be involved, who was not a fucking cop, and went down there with a fucking weapon. And then
I've done really good ones. I've done really good ones before.
Inserts themselves in a situation where they now have to defend themselves and then kill fucking a couple, 2, 3 people. It's like, and then it was self-defense. It's just like, what the fuck were you doing? I've always equated it to I could fucking, walk through Central Park back in the day at 3 o'clock in the morning, dressed like Liberace, singing I'm in the money, waving my money around. And then when somebody comes up to me and starts attacking me, I think, first of all, if I get my fucking ass beat, the person who did it is still wrong, but there's also an onus on me of what is your response? Why would you put yourself into that fucking situation? All right. I don't have time to read all of this. All right. 17-year-old shadowed low.
This was a nice one. And I hold Dave Chappelle, who I personally believe is one of the greatest comedians of our fucking generation, to a higher standard. If Bill Burr came out, who I love Bill Burr. If he came out and tomorrow his special was all man, Cancel culture, am I right? What's going on with these fucking trans people, huh? What's happening? What's up? What's going on there? They're fucking weird, right? Like, if he did that, I'd be like, come on, dude. Like, don't do that. It's... Come on, that was good, dude. It got worse. Shut up.
Local law enforcement as a cadet.
Local law enforcement.
Filled his social media feed posts declaring that blue lives matter. I mean, here's all kinds of shit here that you are fucking ignore. You're ignoring all of this type of shit. You're ignoring fucking racism. You're ignoring media hysteria. And what you're doing is you're going to just take this case and you're gonna fucking act like history and there's nothing up in front of it, and you're just going to press play when these rioters are coming at him and be like, boom, self-defense. And you're going to ignore all of that. And, dude, I just can't sign off on that. All right? I can't sign off on that. I can sign off on if this kid stayed home and some fucking lunatic rioters start coming up his fucking driveway. Then
exactly. He's right.
All day long. All day long, that's self-defense. But when you fucking go out of your way to go down there and get into it with people, you know, and then he checks the victim's okay, and he put his fucking hands up. Well, what a fucking Boy Scout. I mean, I can't sign off on that. I can't. All right? I mean, I easily, in this state that I live in, could buy a gun for fucking self-defense. And when the riots were going on here, I easily could have gone down to where they were going on, and I could have stood there with a fucking gun and been yet another white guy in front of black people with a fucking gun, not on their side. And I could have gone down there, and I could have got into it. And then when they came at me, I guess I could have shot them. I would have been in trouble because I wouldn't have had a license to carry, I guess. But you could have watched that video and been like, you know, yeah, Bill was just defending himself. It's like, Bill didn't need to be there. I didn't need to fucking be there. So,
yeah, a year ago he had this fucking take while literally reading the most like distorted and the most aggro fucking pro Kyle Rittenhouse take possible, and he still had a fucking good ass take on it. My lord, dude.
Their thumbs, they don't get to